tell us your first period story, like all the details. What happened? Where were you? Did you know they were coming?
So I don't get period pains. So I had no idea it was coming. I was about to take a bath, like my evening bath, and I took down my clothes, I took off my underwear, and there was blood. And I knew what periods were, but like at that moment, I was like, oh my god, what is happening to me? Like, and then I literally screamed. The entire house heard me. All my siblings were like, what's going on? My mom was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I think, I don't know what's going on. And I just showed my mom my underwear, and she's like, oh, that's your period, it's okay. And then she congratulated me on growing. She's like, welcome to womanhood, and she like gave me a pad. And then like she had to leave. My dad and her had plans that evening, so they left, and I was just left home like, what the hell just happened? That was so quick. Like a lot just happened in the past 10 minutes, and yeah, that was my period experience.
Why would they just leave you like that?
I don't know.
I think I was in grade 6, and I just started having stomach cramps in the afternoon after school. I didn't understand. Like, she literally gave me all the remedies she could think of. It was just bad. I didn't know what was going on. It was literally just like painful. I had the worst cramps ever. And then they went on and on throughout the night, and then I went to go sleep. But now, like the pajamas I had on, my pants were red. And my bedding was also red because I had this whole thing about like liking red and everything. So I went to sleep, and essentially I slept through the pain. I woke up to go to school. I went to the bathroom, and there was blood, and I didn't understand. I didn't even think to check the bed. I wasn't even aware that it went all over my bed and things like that. She's the one that told me. My grandma's the one that told me later. It's like, yeah, that was a bit of a mess, but it's fine. I cleaned it up. And I called my gran, and she was like, no, there's a box of pads in my closet. Just take them and use them. Change them every time you feel like it's full. It was so weird because, first of all, the pads that she had didn't have wings, and I didn't know. So I just went with it. I used them. I went to school. I was scared, and I've seen people at school have accidents. So I didn't know, but luckily it went okay. And they just said, yeah, no, this is what happens, and you're gonna deal with this every month or so. Now we have to start getting you pads. And I was just like, wow, that's literally how it happened.
I had a friend who was a bit older than me and had a period, but I knew the day would come eventually. I was in grade 7. It was June holidays, and I was going to go visit some family in Mpumalanga that I hadn't seen in a really, really long time. And I remember the brown discharge thing. I was just confused. Why is my panty brown right now? And that was for 4 days. And then the blood came afterwards. And then I was like, oh, that's what's happening to me. And I think I was really embarrassed and shy. And I didn't tell anyone there because I just wanted to go home and have that kind of comfort. I was around people I wasn't necessarily comfortable with, but I know I could have just said, oh, hey, love, this has happened to me. But I really I kept quiet, and I put tissues, and I was like, I will deal with this when I get home. And so I did that. And then when I got to my mom, she was like, girl, why didn't you say anything? And I was like, girl, I don't know. I just needed comfort and I needed her to be there. So yeah, that's what happened. But I knew one of the days it was gonna come. And yeah.
How different has your period experience been from what you have seen on TV or in mainstream media?
It's very different. I feel like mainstream media is very vague in terms of describing periods and what actually happens.
Everybody's singing and jumping and playing, and that's not necessarily it.
They're if you wear these kind of pads, you'll be fine. And it's no pad can prepare you for what you're about to experience.
It's painful, it's uncomfortable.
I guess when you look at the always adverts and they use this gel thingy that they put on the pad, I mean, it gives you an idea, but it's not the real thing. So it's very vague, honestly, I think.
It's just weird that they're like, if you put this on, you'll have a great time. It's like, why are you lying to me? You're setting me up for failure.
There's also like a normalness about it that I wish I saw in media. You know, like this is just a thing that happens to us. It's nothing crazy.
What I've seen on TV is mostly like fear, disgust, and shame. Like, for instance, somebody in a classroom will start their period and everybody will be like, ew, that's so disgusting. And like, or the kid will be at home and they'll start their period and they'll like hide away in the bathroom and it'll be like, I don't want to talk about this. I just want to talk about to my mom about this. I'm going to wait until my mom comes home. Whereas for me, it was a thing of, I realized that I could actually talk to my classmates about it. Be like, hey, do you have a pad for me? Or like talk to my dad even and be like, Dad, I need a pad. I'm having a really bad time with this. Can you please help me out? And he'd be able to give me like whatever I'm craving or like food or just be there to comfort me. It wasn't a thing where I had to be ashamed of it. I was able to be vocal about my experience with the people around me, with people I trusted around me.
Why do you think it's important for the media to show the different experiences, like you're saying?
So that people don't think that they are dying or like that that it's shameful, because I think I had a lot of shame attached to my period in the very like beginning stages, but now that I'm older and more comfortable, I wish everybody could get comfortable like that, because I think it helps to have a sense of comfort. And I also wish the media would stop making women seem completely off the rails when they're on their period. Not that it doesn't happen, it totally happens. And we are emotional and there's a lot of stuff going on for us, but I wish it was just a little more normal, you know? Yeah.
First of all, there's people like me before I actually started my period. You don't know what actually happens. You don't know what to expect. It's not going to be a blue liquid that's going to come out on your pad when you look at it. It's not going to happen like that. So I think it's very important to highlight those, because I realized also when I started having conversations with my girls that they don't go through the same thing that I go through. Like, I'll complain about cramps and they're like, yeah, I'll have cramps, but I'm like, why do I feel nauseous when I have my cramps? Why do I get so sick? And someone would be like, mine are not that bad. Or someone would literally be like, I have cramps that go on my entire period. And it's just like, what? So I think those things should be highlighted. I think they should be highlighted because everyone goes through a different experience, and I think it will sort of give whoever that is, I guess, going to start their period, they would be more familiar with what to expect or what not to expect.
What do you wish you knew about your periods before you got them?
I wish I knew that it wasn't just cramps. I wish I knew that it will give you acne, it will change your mood. I wish I knew that it will affect your diet as well. And I also wish I knew that there were more things like diarrhea, because I do get diarrhea and it's not fun.
Real.
I wish I knew that they were very intense and they were gonna cause a lot of discomfort in my life for so long. There's a lot of things I wish I knew. I wish I was prepared or something. Like, I wish there was sort of like a walkthrough to what is gonna happen, instead of like when it happens and then I'm just like, okay, what is happening? And then they explain it to me, but it's happening right now. So I wish I went through like a preparation phase.
I wish I knew how inconsistent your periods can be and how much the people around you, especially like other bleeders, can affect your cycle. Like, you can sink. I remember when I first started getting period pains, it was when I went to boarding school and I was around people who got period pains, and all of a sudden it started happening to me too, you know? But I don't know if that's a common experience, but it was my experience. I also wish I knew about that weird, like, in-between discharge that's kind of brown. She's a weird one. And, and yeah. I also wish I knew how much your body gets like really tired and how much it can drain you as a person. Yeah. Those are most of the things I wish I knew.
What are some of the things that you would share about your experience to let other girls know what to be ready for when they get their period?
I would tell them to do as much research as possible, to listen to many different perspectives, to ask people questions, to watch the menstrual cycle page. Just get as much information as you possibly can, because one person's experience is not another person's experience. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It can literally be different for every single person.
I honestly think if I were to give advice to someone, I literally take them through a tutorial of what actually happens and what they could do, so that when that happens, and they have literally, make sure that you have a stash of pads somewhere in the closet, because they don't necessarily expire. So you can have a box or a packet of pads in case it happens, and then you're prepared. I think that's the sort of advice I would give. And yeah, just like let them know that, okay, sometimes you might have cramps, so if that happens, don't be alarmed, get painkillers or something like that. So I think a period pack essentially would be a great tool.
Get yourself a routine. Find products that work for you, like, because there's so many options. So do your research and find something that really works for you. Because I know, like, I've been through all the things, and I think I finally found something that works for me. And don't be ashamed, you know. This is something that's gonna happen. It's natural, and it's not this thing that you need to conceal. There's nothing wrong with you for having that, and you're not dying, I promise. I remember, like, I was really afraid of, like, stains and bloating and things like that. I think it starts there. It's just a thing that's gonna happen, and you just need to be as comfortable, even though your body's like really uncomfortable in that time. Just surround yourself with as much comfort as you possibly can. Yeah, and let the people around you help you. Speak to people. Yeah.
What soundtrack or podcast would you dedicate to your entire period experience?
I think I would dedicate Look What You Made Me Do by Taylor Swift, because it's always like, yo, that was a rough week and I was not a nice person and I'm sorry, but it was my period and that's what it made me do, guys. I apologize.
There's a song by Tom Misch and Yusuf Days called Storm Before the Calm. That's literally what I would dedicate my period journey to, because it literally is like thunder. It's chaos. The first day is a mess, and the first few days are just hectic, and then it kind of like eases down towards the end. So yeah, that's literally the song I would dedicate to my period journey, or I would say, yeah.
Well, the song that I would dedicate is I'm Fine by Fushi. I don't know how to say it. Fushi? I don't know. It goes mellow. It goes, I am fine. I really don't mind. Da, 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 da. And then it goes, I'm fine! Like in the middle. And then it goes back to the really... And I love that song because it's like, I think a lot of people, when you're on your period, you still have to go out in the world, you have to live. So you have to be like, I'm fine, but you know, you're screaming inside. Yeah.
I am Gateko and I bleed too.
I am Kamogelo and I bleed too.
My name is Angubile and I bleed too.
Nice. You ate that. Period.
Period.
Eat every.